Catch 'em all.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is John Base, and I'm here to reel you into yet another Warcraft speculation / theory crafting video. On the topic we're going to discuss today, there has been a little bit of coverage rather recently between Pyromancer and Bellular Gaming. Pyromancer has said himself that the Chronicle may not be necessarily correct, and I'm not necessarily against that point. I mean, the dude's head's been basically set on a stake about this point. It's been made borderline a meme about the way that Pyromancer has been portrayed within the Warcraft community. I mean, I get that his speculation points are kind of convoluted and really, really out there, but that doesn't mean that they should be discredited. So let's get a little bit into this point, okay? During the ordering of the Great Dark Beyond, there was an explosion. The light and the void clashing together endlessly, the same way that they do actively, which then in turn created all the other primal forces of existence, being arcane and being order and chaos, life and death, light and void. Even including all the way down to the elemental primal forces of a planet, fire, water, earth, air, and spirit. I mean, the point that I'm getting at with all this is that all of these forces are 100% necessary to the balance of nature and existence. You see, the Titan Pantheon themselves are multiple examples of the primal forces of existence. Aman'Thul is, by my opinion, the elemental or the representation of arcane and order, as per the way he sent the Titan Pantheon as himself. He was the first one and the discoverer of the Titan Pantheon, the founder of the Titan Pantheon. He sent them on their mission to order, discover, find all these other world souls, and stop them from chaos, which in a way to me is based out of the same neck of the woods of chaos in itself, trying to purge every single world by fire to prevent the point that the arcane is taking. And not only to prevent the point that the arcane and order is taking, but to prevent what the void is taking. The light themselves, we have a lot of evidence during the Battle for Azeroth beta that without any other presence within them. I mean, very particularly speaking, without the Legion and without the Void present on alternate Drano, for example, Yrel becomes very zealotish. She gets very aggressive. She basically executes or forces any other orc into her organization as though to kind of force the light's prophecy onto the others around them. The same way that Zira grabbed Illidan, picked him up in the air, and told him that his scars would be healed, the way that his destiny was fulfilled. But he felt like his destiny was his own. Illidan, to me, is a very, very good representation of what chaos should be. Because even in the modern world, you can't have freedom and chaos coincide. I mean, you can't have peace and freedom coincide, because peace is tyranny and freedom is chaos. Okay? To have peace, you have to have an overbearing control of every other aspect and force of what's going on around you. But to have freedom, there is nothing controlling anybody's actions. And freedom is what it is. It happens and it plays out, and it may not be what everybody considers to be morally sound, particularly because they're all focused on what the necessity for peace is. But freedom is not peace. Freedom is destructive. It's chaotic. It's dark. Most people don't want to accept this as fact of matter, but to have true freedom is to have true chaos. Sargeras himself, I mean, let's go into my examples of the Titan Pantheon, all the different world souls, and what their roles play into the Chronicle's ideal of what the universal chart of primal forces should be. Thule is order. Sargeras later became chaos. There are standard Naru, which are the primal forces of the light. There's void Naru, primal forces of the void. You have Argus, who is the primal force of death, who is very, very clearly labeled as the Unmaker and is the Titan of Unmaking, who is the Titan of Death. The only person who has a problem with this Titan of Death construct is Amun-Thul. Amun-Thul, as the leader of Order and Arcane, at least by my speculation, has a problem with death. He wants to prevent it. He wants to fight it, which is why he had Eonar being the elemental and or primal representation of life, flourish life on all of these different planets, and even create a realm such as the Emerald Dream to preserve and keep life flowing in a way that death couldn't function, because they want their overtaking of the elemental plane. You see, I have lots of examples of this as far as in-game bases go, so I mean, let's go ahead and get into it. When the Burning Legion gained too much power on Draenor, what happened? The Burning Crusade happened, right? When Chaos gained too much power, the Burning Legion overtook the entire planet. They destroyed the planet. They ripped it apart by the fabric of reality and time in itself. When the light takes too much power, when the light doesn't have anything to combat it, when the light doesn't have any of its other primal forces of nature to combat it and to distract it from its final prophetic outcome, they become zealot-like. They get forceful, because as the light states, they only see one prophecy, and that one prophecy is the only possible outcome of their entire situation. There's so many different examples of this in game. Even particularly with Legion, because very clearly after we defeated the Void during the situations of the Cataclysm, then we went into Mist of Pandaria and dealt with the Shah, which then in turn dealt with Yasharaj, an old god manifestation, the heart of Yasharaj, who was then being channeled through Garrosh Hellscream into Warlords of Draenor, where there was Void influences, Legion influences. After all of these issues were taken care of, the Legion overtook the situation, and they tried to once again control Azeroth, as Sargeras wants another Demon Sultan. He wants another Titan with the same power as he has. The combination of light and void, the combination of light, void, and chaos, what allows him to see the ultimate prophetic truth and reality of what the situation is. By my opinion, Sargeras himself is pivotal to the existence of the Great Dark Beyond, and him being trapped within the seat of the Pantheon could be a very serious foreboding issue, which is why I think so strongly that the Void is going to have such a strong influence within the events of Battle for Azeroth. Now, to wrap things up, if you made it to this point in the video, again, like I said before, I get that it was a little bit on the rambly side. It's kind of hard with as quick as these series flow through my head when I start talking about them to kind of keep up with myself. I find myself getting confused because my brain's at a point 5 steps ahead of where my mouth's able to step at, and that's why I keep skipping and going back to certain points. If this did end up too confusing and some of you had issues following it, please be sure to let me know in the comment section down below so that I can work harder in the future on making sure before I make a final cut that it ends up in a way that is completely and fluidly understandable to all of my viewers. Again, thanks so much for sticking around until this point. And as always, if you like this video, hit a like. If you support what I'm all about, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And most important of all, leave all your thoughts and opinions on what I have to say in the comment section down below. Community is absolutely everything to me, guys, and without a back and forth discussion, then there's no content for me to create. As always, thanks so much, and be safe.